probably wondering how I got here. Hi, I'm GPW Meredith, Commander of the Royal Australian Government and main combatant of the Great Emu War. World War I played a huge part in the creation of this war. One effect of the Great War was that the Australian government gave 5,030 veterans extra plots of farmland as they found themselves useless after coming back from the war.
About 90,000 hectares of land were given to them to help them cope with the effects of the massive conflict.
Unfortunately, these newly planted and expanding farmlands were found to be perfect habitats for the local emu. Those foul beasts took the croplands as their homes and pillaged them to the point of destruction. In 1922, the emu were stripped of their protected species status due to all their misconduct. And in 1929, the world's most famous economic crisis took place. The Great Depression got into our country. In response to this, the farmers just kept on expanding their farmlands and growing more wheat in hopes to compensate for all the money they were losing. But this only motivated the emus to go more and more into our lands, taking them as habitats. Due to the horrible event that was the Great Depression, there were about 20,000 emus eating our wheat. There was an overwhelming amount of requests to get the military involved with this wildlife situation, as there was no ammunition for the civilians to be using against these emus. That's where me and my two guys came in. Skipper's Law. We began our journey to camping, hoping to kill at least 50 emus. We struck first blood this day, attacking our herd of them. We weren't able to get really any of them, though. 2 days later, we tried to get in on a herd of 1,000, and we brought in the heavy artillery. But the emus were smarter than we thought, and they were able to get caught on our steering wheel post-mortem. November 8th. We had expended about 2,500 rounds of ammunition to kill about 200 emus down south, where the emus were supposedly more tame. I decided to call off the operation. But we weren't done yet. November 13th, we began our second campaign up north. We were prepared this time, killing about 100 emus every week. We had backup this time, though. The government had given ammunition to the farmers to fight them back as well. With just my squad alone, we were able to kill about 986 emus with 9,860 rounds of ammunition. With an exact average of around 10 rounds per emu, I had to call off my front. However, the farmers valiantly pushed forward. They kept fighting and fighting, and after 6 months, they were able to take out about 57,034 of those dastardly birds. Now, of course, there were those who were against us. During the 20th century, there was an emergence of environmental conservationists globally, and we had a whole bunch of them from the UK breathing down our necks. They were basically like the rest of the conservationists, who wanted to stop the extinction of a species and keep the world clean. Obviously, a governmental sponsorship of the extermination of emus in Australia was something that these newly formed groups were completely against. However, their impact on the situation wasn't very substantial.
Pause! Hi, I'm John Green, and welcome to Crash Course Nuisance History, and today we're going to talk about the Great Emu War. Mr. Green, did you know that there were other wars that were fought similar to the Emu War? Yes, me from the past. That's what we're here to talk about today. The Great Emu War was a nuisance wildlife event in 1932, which was basically the Australians declaring war against the emus and still managing to lose. Surprisingly, yet sadly, there has been a couple of other events similar to the emu crisis. In China, between 1958 and 1962, Mao Zedong told people to kill sparrows because they would eat most of the grains and seeds. Hundreds of millions of sparrows were killed, mostly by chasing and due to exhaustion, and they died. They also targeted rats, flies, and mosquitoes, which was called the Forward Pest Campaign. Mr. Green, but isn't that what birds normally eat? Yes, me from the past, that's what birds ate, although it interfered with the farmers. And according to the madman Mao Zedong, the Great Leap Forward was basically about agriculture, and if there were no seeds, ergo no crops. Another event similar to the cause of the Great Emu War was the Dust Bowl. In 1930, the people of Western USA were given tons of crops to grow. After multiple years of growing in the same land, the dirt was lifted by heavy winds and resulted in creating a giant storm. They were also specifically growing a huge amount of crops, just like the Aussies, as the cool kids would say, because of the Great Depression. Mr. Green, but how are the two similar?
Bruh.
Oh, me from the past. You were so innocent, but you understood so little. While they both led from different outcomes, They were both caused by the farmers who wanted to make out their money from the Great Depression.
Finally, glad that's over. Aw, shoot. Here we go again.